Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the public hearing on proposed day use permit and facility rule changes. My name is Katie Gauthier. I'm the Government Relations and Policy Manager for Oregon Parks and Recreation Department, and I will be the Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the I will be the rule coordinator for the hearing this evening. We are going to do a presentation on the background for the proposed rule change, and then I will answer some clarifying questions on the process of the rule change. If they are questions that are more about the reasoning behind the rule change, I may ask you to then put those in as part of your public comment. And then after the any questions, then we will open up the public hearing and take any public comments that anyone would like to provide. So a little bit about the background. Currently there are 250 state parks in Oregon within OPRD. 25 of those parks require a day use parking permit. Those parks are listed in rural. On the map here, you see in the blue dots are the parks that require a parking permit. The proposed rules would remove the list from rural and then allow the director, all parks would require a day use parking permit, but allow the director to waive that requirement. The director plans to waive the requirement at most parks, and there is no immediate plan to change the parks that require a permit, but there would be an agency review of parks that would possibly charge or require a permit beginning in 2025. And the reason that we are proposing these changes, listing the parks in rural is really an outdated process that fails to provide parks with the needed flexibility to manage the increased visitation and changing conditions that we are facing today. Under the proposed rules, the agency will move to an adaptive management approach that will utilize the day use parking permits as a tool to manage visitation flow and protect the natural and cultural recreation resources while generating revenue for ongoing maintenance and operation needs. This change would work. In addition to the rules that are proposed, the agency would develop a policy for implementing the proposed rules. The policy would guide the selection of parks that would require a parking permit and those where the requirement would be waived. In developing recommendations to the director, staff would utilize criteria such as park visitation, use trends, amenities, location, and evaluation of access to recreation in surrounding areas, as well as historic context. The policy would also establish a process for the director to review parks annually and allow for public feedback as part of that process. Any changes to permit requirements would be shared publicly prior to implementation, and information would be provided on our agency website and within park entrances. How much it will cost? Recently, the day use parking permit fee for daily rates did increase. For 2025, it will be $10 per day. The annual pass did not increase. It will remain $30 for a 12-month pass or $50 for a 24-month pass. This permit is good at any state park that requires a parking permit. The director will have the authority to waive the parking permit fees at parks and could waive portions of fees. So some parks could have a lower fee if that were set. And it's always a good idea to remind everyone that if you're camping in a state park, you do not need to pay a day use fee while you're camping. The other piece of this proposed rule change is to look at group facilities. A prior rulemaking, we had different rate change proposals, and the request by the Parks Commission was to add an out-of-state rate to these facilities as well. So this proposal would have changes to the proposed rate ranges here in the tan color, and then a 25% surcharge for out-of-state residents in the light blue color. The changes in rate types, we add a group picnic shelter rate, which is for group picnic shelters that have water and electricity included at the shelter site. And then we're adding the Smith Rock Amphitheater. It's currently being rented, but it was there wasn't a good site type, so we're adding a specific site type for the Smith Rock Amphitheater as a unique site type. The youth camp is at Silver Falls, and it's not on the reservation system any longer. It's used through a land use agreement, so it's being removed from the site. And the last piece is Shore Acres State Park. It's really a restructuring of the rules around packages for rental there. The rules were confusing. So this is the way that packages are rented. The 4 packages describe which types of properties are included when you rent a space at Shore Acres. So for the first package, you get a garden site, a garden house, and a pavilion area, and then it goes down from there. And but there would be an out-of-state surcharge in all of those properties as well. So for the process, we do have public comment open until November 1st. And once the public comment period closes, then staff will review and analyze the comments and share that with the Parks Commission for consideration of adopting proposed rule changes at their commission meeting toward the end of November. If the proposed rules are adopted, they would become effective January 1st of 2025. So now is an opportunity if there's anyone that would like to ask any clarifying questions on what is being proposed as a rule change. So if you have any clarifying questions, if you would like to raise your hand, I will then I'll make it so that you are allowed to, I'll unmute you so that you can talk if you want to raise your hand. Okay, Jennifer, what's your question?
Hey, I'm wondering if there will be a level, or would parking fees be waived for folks with qualifying disabled parking placards?
Not under this proposed rule change. It doesn't specify any additional discount programs.
Is that something that could be added or could be considered in the future?
It could be if there was I would encourage you to add that as part of your public comment as a request.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay. Well, we will now move to the public hearing portion of the evening. The hearing is an opportunity to provide public comment. There are no decisions that are made at the public hearing. Each person will have 3 minutes to comment, and the commenters will be called based on if you raise your hand, I will allow you to unmute and provide your comment. The meeting is recorded and will be posted on our website. And if you do not wish to comment, you're welcome to log off. Again, our comments are open until November 1st at 5 p.m. You can comment by providing a comment online or in writing or via email. And before we actually open the public hearing, I need to read a script that officially opens the public hearing. So this hearing is now in session. It is being recorded to maintain the public record. My name is Katie Gauthier. I'm the hearings officer. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd. The time is 5:40 p.m. The purpose of this hearing is to provide an opportunity for public comment on the proposed rule changes by Oregon Parks and Recreation Department regarding day use parking permit fee changes and group facilities. The agency invites comments about whether the options should be considered for achieving the rule's goals while reducing the negative impact on business. In addition to presenting oral comments at the hearing, anyone may submit written comments until 5 p.m. on November 1st, 2024, which is the close of the public comment period. Comments received after the close of the public comment period will not be reviewed or considered by the agency unless the agency decides to extend the comment period for everyone. Send comments to the public comment mailbox or the state parks office. The addresses are posted on the screen. OPRD will not respond to questions during the hearing. After the close of the public comment period, staff will prepare a report to the agency, which will be available from the agency upon request, and will be presented to the Parks Commission as they consider adoption for these rules. If you have any questions as part of your testimony, I would appreciate if you could state those questions as concerns for the record. To provide better context for the comments, I may ask follow-up questions. To respect each speaker, we have muted everyone who is not presenting, and we have asked that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. A timer will be set on the screen so that you know when the time has expired. Again, you may submit written comments up until the close of the public comment period. I will now ask if anyone would like to provide a public comment. Please raise your hand. Okay. Jennifer.
Hi.
Hi, and I will get oops, I'm going too far. Go ahead.
Thanks. I just wanted to make a recommendation that the day use parking fees be waived for folks with qualifying disabled parking placards. Many of the park features that folks are driving to parks to visit are inaccessible for folks with disabilities. And I think paying the full fee to visit a space that is not fully accessible to someone doesn't make a lot of sense. And that would be one way for parks to increase accessibility as well as welcoming environments for folks with disabilities, particularly in the few places that do have accessible features.
Great. Thank you very much for your comment. And I will make sure we share it with the commissioners. Thank you for taking the time to come this evening. Is there anyone else that would like to provide a comment? Okay, well, thank you for attending. Again, if you would like to provide any comments, they are open on our website or via email until November 1st at 5 p.m. And we appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about the proposed rule change this evening. I am going to close the public hearing. Thank you so much for attending.